Die Cutting Essentials issue 109 has just landed on my doorstep and it's absolutely beautiful, and the best thing as well is that it has some beautiful papers and sentiments that you can download and print off at home. Now this got me thinking, I'm going to create a card, so I did print off one of the backing papers that I fell in love with. This is just this beautiful kind of watercolor holly effect paper. It's got teals in there instead of the traditional greens, and I also printed off some of the sentiment strips as well. But like I say, that got me thinking. Now I do this a lot. I probably do it on a weekly basis. I find my favorite magazine, I find the digital papers that are often associated with it, I print it off, I use it, I love it. But then with those downloads, there's always lots of other papers. How do I know what's stored in my computer? Because I don't have a physical library to go back and look at. So what I've decided to do before I create this card is I have actually printed this paper off again, but instead of wasting ink, I've actually printed it off in a smaller size. And I'm going to create myself a junk journal scrapbook page. I'm going to end up filling this album up with elements from all of my pattern papers that I have digitally on file, with coordinating sentiments, with coordinating inks, distress oxides, with the coordinating cardstock that I've found as well. A bit like a scrapbook that I can refer back to time and time again as a reference for my digital papers. So follow along with me as I build this page up, and then we'll create the card at the end too. So when I send my digital papers to print, I often have the option for what size I'd like to print them at. So I set this one to print really small. It's about 3.5 by 5 inches, something like that. That's going to fit nicely inside my new notebook that's going to be my reference for all of my digital patterned papers. I've also gone through my cardstock scraps and such, and I've pulled out some papers or cardstock that I think will work really well with this paper, and I'm going to put a snippet of each of these alongside my pattern paper too. Now, to make this more fun, to enjoy the process as well as having a really useful reference for me, I'm going to make this quite fun by punching, die cutting shapes, things like that. So with my chosen cardstock, I'm going to use my circle punch here. This is just an old punch I've had laying around for a long time. Usually nowadays I would go for nesting dies because I've got all the different sizes that I need, but I still like to use my old tools as and when I can. And I'm just punching circles out of the 4 cardstocks that I find coordinate with this paper. I've also printed off a small element of another pattern paper that actually came with the same download, so that I know what else I've got in that download. You could do this for all of the papers if you wanted to, or just 1 or 2 that you think would work really well with your chosen one, the one you're focusing on. Now I've also got 4 of my blending inks that I think will work really nicely with this particular pattern paper. Putting a piece of masking tape down there. This is a low tack tape, just so that I can create a swatch from these colours that I think will work. So I'm going to go with 4 of them again. You can go with as many as you need to work with that particular project or that particular piece of paper. So I'm going to swipe each one of them, and then I'm going to write beside each element what everything is, where I can find it again, just for future reference. I'm going to carefully just peel up my low tack tape that I've put down, and I've got a nice straight line along here. Now you can really have a lot of fun with this. So you can add in different journaling embellishments if you want to. You can add in as many different colours, shapes, patterns that you think are going to work. Now, I think with this, what's really going to work well is the die that came alongside the magazine, and that's this one here. I love this bow as well, but I think this wreath in particular, because we've got the holly leaves in there, so I might just cut myself that image also. So I've got the silhouette of that die cut there because I just think that works really nicely. The size and everything works really well. Then I've got my colour palette, which is these circles at the side. I've got some ink there as well in case I need to do some stamping, watercolour effects, ink blending. I've got a couple of sentiments that also come from the digital downloads from the same folder, and I've also got another backing paper that works really nicely, coordinates with this one. So I know they're going to work together. Now everything together is going to make a beautiful card. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stick all of these down and I'm going to hand write my little notes so that I'll remember where to find all of these elements later on. So there's my quick journal page that is going to be a reference for me every time I want to think about finding myself a digital pattern paper. I can flick through this book, all my pages decorated in a similar way with that pattern paper as the main feature, and I can see exactly what really works with it and kind of just guide myself as to the best colours and combinations for that particular paper. Now, because I've got everything at a glance, I can flick through and look for anything that's yellow, anything that's teal, anything that's red, whichever I need as well, making it so quick and easy to make those colour decisions. So now I'm going to pop together a quick card using this page as my inspiration. And there's a very quick card that I've quickly put together using the inspiration from my journal page that is always there for me to refer back to now. I hope you've enjoyed this little bit of a different video helping you organise and catalogue your digital images. Do subscribe to the CraftStash channel just here for more inspirational videos like this. And of course, don't forget everything that we've talked about in this video you can purchase using this link here. And we think you'd really like this video just here too. Take care everybody, I'll see you soon.